Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Comment of the Week for January 24th through January 30th, 2022. These are the very best comments from that time period. Starting out with the honorable mentions, we have Art Bell, Red Strass 97, and Martyville. The bronze medal comes to us from Art Bell. Thought it was the completionist, the famous I'm depressed so pay me guy. The guy moved to LA to bump up his career. He looked scared. I think he was the one who did not know the speech was on the way. I lean towards staff revolt. On the panel earlier, she took an odd side in the console wars PlayStation 5. That unscripted fast take got dummy type of critical comments in the chat. Not from gender. There is hostility that the Playboy model ex-host can deliver lust feelings to viewers, which she cannot. I take Rick's women hate women instinct. It applies, but she was slick to try to suggest that it was a war on both women. Not if one was hired for her eye candy services. Yes, it's what models sell by their agents to a show. The Daisy Dukes girl on Dukes of Hazzard during the Frost Grant, in chat there was support. You can look like a hero applauding. The men were forced to cheer or else. Later online, she said she got subs and payment for increased impressions. Twitter pays this somehow? She wins, but who wants to hire a suicidal person to go on air with a protest mob after her? It's like hiring Barn or Roberto Blake, as another critic said. The liability of bad comments driving a vulnerable hire to end life is too much. My dad is gone. You let him on the air. People were mean. I have no father. In a courtroom, this explains why there is no Barnes show. He is alone on YouTube as a gig economy worker. G4 has some firing to do. We need a shaving mandate for completionists. Well, there's a lot to really discuss there. I'm not going to discuss the shaving thing, the mandate for the completionist, and there may be a sneeze coming on in a moment. There. Normally I would have time to edit that out. Normally I would, but I really got to get caught up on these comments of the weeks. So the quality of these comment of the weeks might drop down for a while, and there might be a... That was a second sneeze. My apologies. My deepest apologies to you all, expecting normal quality and comment of the week. Once I get caught up, we'll get back to normal quality. But we got to get through this, okay? Let's talk about one thing in your comment there. Just skipping over the completionist stuff, skipping over the Frost stuff, because to be honest, it was half a year ago, and I don't remember all the details of that, but women hating women. It's not just an instinct. It is a fact. It is a fact that women hate women. You notice how sometimes you might talk to a woman and you ask her about how her friends are doing, and she looks at you and she says, I don't talk to that bitch no more. That usually doesn't happen with men a lot, does it? Like, men can fall out of friendships with other men's, but there's you boys. Usually you're friends with somebody for years. But the bonds that women have to each other seems very superficial. Very superficial. Also, you ever notice when women are in a group and one woman leaves the group, the other women talk shit about the other woman? Women hate women. I guess I could swing back and talk about the Frost stuff for a second. You said that the ex Playboy model ex-host delivers less feelings to viewers. I think honestly what is going on here is, and this is just my take on it, I may be a little off, I'm not sure, but I feel like Frost is kind of either jealous of the other females, how much attention they're getting from males, or, and she's okay looking. It's not like she's fugly or anything. She's just not as attractive as Olivia Munn or whatnot. I think what's going on here is she's a bit jealous, and maybe she's a bit angry actually that she's not being respected for I don't even know what she's really good at doing for her game reviews. Again, this was half a year ago. I should probably just stop it there and everything, because this is not going to be one of my best. I could tell already, Art Bell. But like I said, I got like 25 of these to get through, hopefully before the end of the year. I shouldn't have got this far behind. The silver medal comes to us from Dumez. I love the first 5 Metallica albums. For me, Am I Evil is by far my favorite Metallica song. But isn't that interesting that it is not their song but rather a cover? I was shocked. You was shocked. You was shocked when you learned this back in the day. I have a rhythm game in my Oculus VR called Audio Shield where you can use your own MP3 music, and I totally rock out in VR with that song as my favorite. Truly incredible. That long intro is where they tease you all slow, then blammo! It was. Lucky for me in the 90s, I bought Metallica's first album on CD, Kill 'Em All. And as a bonus, they included Never Before, Am I Evil on there, and also Blitzkrieg, which was the only B-side of a single vinyl. If you say you want to get more into metal, I highly recommend pop in and listen to all the first 5 Metallica albums. You might find there are no stinkers, perhaps nowhere you must skip a track. Except for album 5, the Black Album, it has a few stinkers I always skip. Like that horrid Nothing Else Matters and another horrible slow one on there. But the first 4, you can go through all and not skip any. The factual overall best Metallica album is Master of Puppets. Pop it in one day when you have one solid hour and give it a listen all the way through. No need to skip any tracks so you can work out or clean house or whatever and not need to mess with the remote. I can definitely say Metallica is great to work out to. Metallica, something with a beat. There's a lot of different workout music. Metallica, I think, is great to drive fast to also on the interstate. There's a lot of instances where Metallica is great music to listen to. Their later stuff, I mean, I'm a little more forgiving, but I haven't really heard the first 4 albums all the way through. Master of Puppets, I've heard that. I love Master of Puppets. I agree with that's probably their best album. I don't really agree on the Nothing Else Matters because, I don't mind Nothing Else Matters. It's slow. I mean, it's not really heavy metalish. Well, I think showing their range, I think it's good to show their range a little bit. Maybe if I listen to it again and again, it might bother me. And there's a lot of others here, a lot of songs you bring up. Blitzkrieg. Yeah, that's a great song there. I really like Metallica. And now, the shiny, shiny gold medal comes to us from the Winged Avenger. I might understand Froskuren's outburst if she were unattractive, but she's actually very beautiful, at least in my humble opinion. So to me, the video came across as little more than a cry for attention. I wouldn't put it past the G4 crew to have scripted and staged this whole thing in order to get woke kids to subscribe to their channel, which by the way is nowhere near the level it used to be on. I don't understand why a woman would see it as negative that guys found her attractive. If a woman's beauty overshadows her talent, she would concentrate more on honing her gig instead of wasting her time complaining. What really rubs me the wrong way is when a woman makes this sort of plea with a Martin Luther King complex, as Frost does here. Dr. King had to make passionate speeches because millions of black people were being judged on the color of their skin instead of the content of their character. And when spoiled social media bohemians put out videos sounding like their kind is being oppressed, it makes me want to change the channel. If she feels she's being judged more on her looks than her commentating, then perhaps she should switch to a job in which her skills are good enough not to get outshined by her pretty face. I like a lot of female performers who happen to be attractive, and I never get distracted by their beauty for more than 1 second. The reason for that is that they're talented, and talent goes further than beauty. Just ask Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres, well, I mean, would you say that she's a beautiful person or used to be a beautiful person? I mean, it's not really my cup of tea. I'm not going to judge people if they find her to be beautiful. I personally do not. But, you have great points here. Talent goes farther than beauty. Now, I listened to a little bit of Froskuren, and I would say she is really lucky that she is good looking. decent looking. She's lucky because I think she's really not a great commentator. I don't think that she is. And this is just my opinion on it, but I personally don't think it is. And just imagine, what's that term? First world problems and complaining about things? Just imagine what a black person, specifically maybe a black person in the time of Martin Luther King, would think if 50 years later they tuned in and they heard Frost Curran complaining that she's being judged more on her beauty and not her talent. Oh, boo fucking who? Boo fucking who? I really don't know what the deal with that was. And Art Bell had some comments talking about how that the completionist and some of the other fellas just seemed shocked and surprised. Like they weren't in on that. And they had to, start clapping because that's what men have to do. Whenever women get on their soapbox, even as silly as it sounds, and she actually talked about jerk it. I remember that. So she even added that in there. What a classy lady, right? All the men around have to stand up and go, woo, yeah, woo, yeah. Well, what the hell are we clapping about? Woo, yeah. Okay. Now, a woman's beauty definitely can overshadow her talent. It can sometimes, if they're just stunningly drop-dead gorgeous. But, like you said, after a while, you get accustomed to that beauty. And you start judging them on their musical ability, as an instance. You start judging them on what they're doing, their ability on that. One final thing I'll put in here, even though I agree with your statement, talent goes farther than beauty. As far as talent going farther than beauty, I don't think in our current society, talent is appreciated more than beauty. Example, the Kardashian family.